organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV.
Spring Fling on campus, how the UI surprised students with free swag. Details next.
And how simply signing a piece of paper could light up an entire continent. What some students are doing for Africa coming up.
And in sports, an Olympic dream and position battles both on tap.
We have it all at the top of the hour. Daily Iowan TV starts now. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Muriel Kone.
And I'm Reed Chandler.
We begin tonight with breaking news. One University of Iowa student has been expelled for sexual misconduct.
In the past, the university has suspended students on sexual misconduct, but this is the first expulsion of its kind. Vice President of Student Life Tom Rockland said in a statement to the Daily Iowan that every case will be evaluated on a total pattern of facts.
This particular situation involves a student who forcibly fondled two different victims, and right now the university can't specify how they determine sanctions for each student, as it's on a case-by-case basis.
Polling for the University of Iowa student government elections closed at 5 p.m. Thursday, but there will likely be no surprise about who will serve as president and vice president next year. There was only one executive ticket on the ballot. Our own Matt Starnes explores the one-ticket system.
Online voting has closed, and while the race for student president and vice president is all but in the bag for the Open Party, the contest between UISG senator candidates is more contentious.
It feels good, but we're also nervous for our individual senators because there's a competitive race on that end. Only the top 39 individual vote getters will get in for the Senate positions.
Only one executive ticket ended up on the ballot, but UISG Speaker of the Senate, Saranya Subramanian, said the potential second party she was involved with, the A-list, never made it past December because of concerns about support from UISG administration and worry about undesirable outcomes. Current UISG President Catherine Valdez said the administration doesn't take sides in elections.
And as far as how things kind of shake out before we get to elections, it's hard to speculate on why someone didn't run or what it means. But I think that if you look at the platform and the ideas, that still does really count when you're looking at an election. And so I do believe in the merit of your ideas and your hard work.
Valdez also said Senate candidates from the A-list have since been incorporated into the Open Party.
But I think looking now, they have a really great group. They represent a lot of different student organizations and populations on campus.
With elections now drawn to a close, results will be announced at 5 p.m. Friday. Matt Starnes, Daily Iowan TV.
Hundreds of students were in for a big surprise as they left class earlier today. UI faculty members gave away flip-flops, frisbees, and ice cream in celebration of the warm weather. And after such a harsh and long drawn-out winter, university officials thought students needed a bit of a pick-me-up to celebrate the springtime weather this week.
As soon as it's 45 degrees at the end of winter, people are in shorts, so we might as well just chime right into that.
And students loved the idea.
We're college students, we like free stuff. Yeah, it was a really great surprise.
Free stuff is good stuff.
It's a great day. It's a great day to be a Buckeye.
And Reed, I got in on some of the action today.
I got my own swag. Bring on the Rays.
You know what? I'm ready for summer vacation because these pink flip-flops are definitely going with me.
It's been over a century since Thomas Edison invented the light bulb in the Americas, and it's hard for most of us to imagine a world without electricity. But that is the reality for hundreds of millions of people in Africa. But today, UI students from the student group 1 worked to get signatures for a bill that will help provide electricity for all of sub-Saharan Africa.
The reason that we're involved here is because we believe in equality. And we think that it doesn't matter where you're born, you should still have a choice to live. And that's why we strive to do this.
Papini estimates that over 5,000 students have already signed the petition on campus. The bill has potential to save or improve the lives of 50 million people in sub-Saharan Africa. One is a worldwide organization started by famous musician Bono.
Leadership, service, and activism. These three attributes were shine on this afternoon as the UI hosted their annual celebration of excellence and achievement among women. The IMU was home to several female leaders as 6 UI students and 3 faculty members received awards for their hard work and achievements. These awards included areas in the College of Medicine, Education, and Liberal Arts and Sciences. Dean of Carver College of Medicine, Deborah Schwinn, led the event and gave encouraging advice to students awarded, including to be persistent and to never settle for less.
A North Liberty couple accused of having a methamphetamine lab in their home. April and Derek Schmelzer, both 29, were charged with controlled substance violation and gathering for use of drugs after authorities searched their home. The couple also reportedly admitted to using drugs at their residence. Controlled substance violations are a Class B felony, and gathering for use of drugs is a Class D.
And still on the way, an uncommon form of protecting yourself against assaults.
But first, let's get a look at our weather forecast from our own Nick Fisher in the weather studio. Nick?
Thanks, guys. After a beautiful day today, we can expect much of the same tomorrow. The morning will be a comfortable 38 degrees with cloudy skies. The afternoon will only get warmer as the temperature climbs to 64. After the sun sets, we can expect to see a high temperature of 67 with clear skies. A high temperature of 77 on Saturday will be more than comfortable with cloudy skies expected. On Sunday, we can expect the temperatures to drop off quite a bit with a high of 59 and a 100% chance of precipitation. The wet weather will stick around from Monday, and the warm weather will subside with highs in the upper 40s. Tuesday, the temperature will stick around the upper 40s with clear skies, and Wednesday, the temperature will inch up back into the low 50s. That's all I have for you tonight in the weather studio. Back to you at the desk.
And now it's time for this week's edition of Spotlight Iowa City. We're shining a light on Kung Fu masters right in our backyard. We'll hand it over to our own Megan Horhan for the rest. Megan?
It's no secret that sexual assaults have been a recent problem on campus. Potential victims faced in these situations may have to use self-defense to stay safe. Our own Stefan Duran found one defense that could possibly be the most effective strategy very few would think of.
This is Kung Fu. And unlike other martial arts you may have seen in the movies, it works just a little differently.
You end up using a larger, stronger opponent's momentum, strength against themselves.
Kung Fu is different in that it focuses on using energy and specialized techniques to succeed. And in the case of sexual assaults, it can be perfect for those who may not be the strongest in a dangerous situation.
It doesn't matter if you're all muscles or like if you're really tiny. You could still learn it and do it because we all do the same technique.
And those techniques stay with the students no matter what situation they might find themselves in. Rather than focusing on what certain techniques go with particular scenarios, the teaching works in a more universal way.
The way we train, the method and the science behind how the art is devised will help sort of simulate 1,000 different scenarios simultaneously.
Other than just learning techniques, students at the Moyat School in Coralville say their training has helped them pay more attention to their everyday surroundings.
The more that I focus on Kung Fu and the more that I train, like I said, the less I find myself in dangerous situations because I know they're dangerous.
And even if students are new, teachers remind them they can apply the most simple techniques to dangerous situations right away by saying this phrase.
Use today what you learned today. Down. Stefan Duran, Daily Iowan TV.
Instructors say their doors are always open to those of you out there wondering if Kung Fu is for you.
And now for what's happening beyond Iowa. A passing of the torch for CBS's The Late Show as 67-year-old David Letterman announced his retirement on air last week. CBS announced today Letterman will be replaced by Comedy Central's Stephen Colbert. 49-year-old Colbert has hosted The Colbert Report since 2005 on Comedy Central. He'll now face off against Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel for late-night supremacy, and Letterman says his retirement will happen sometime in 2015.
Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius announced her resignation tonight. Her 5-year tenure ended with a rough rollout of the Affordable Care Act. President Obama plans to nominate current Director of the Office of Management and Budget, Sylvia Matthews-Burwell, to the position Friday morning. And Muriel, graduation is just a month away for those of us here at the UI.
That's right, Reed. And for one former Hawk, that means one more month until chasing an Olympic dream becomes his full-time job.
Our own Kevin Glick is standing by in the Daily Iowan TV sports studio, and we'll hand it over to him now. Kevin?
That's right, Reed. We're talking future plans with Olympic hopeful Tony Ramos later in the show, but we start the program this evening on the gridiron, where position battles are just starting to heat up. For much of the past decade, the running back position here at Iowa has been a mess. A revolving door of player transfers, untimely suspensions, and unfortunate injuries has left the position in flux, more often than not heading into falls at Kinnick Stadium. That is not the case, however, in 2014 with a total of 9 running backs on scholarship. Daily Iowan TV Sports' Alyssa Bergamini has the latest on spring ball.
Unlike last season for Iowa football, it's now a fierce fight between the running backs, with both old and new faces coveting that position on the playing field.
We didn't have many running backs last year. Adam Cox was playing a lot of running back in there too. So yeah, it's great to have it. Great to have competition. Makes everyone better out there. A lot of guys played last year, so yeah, it's a great competition for everybody.
Although Wiseman started out the season strong, his injury led Jordan Kanzeri to step up and rip off some runs.
He's a really good running back. He is instinctually probably the best running back we have in terms of seeing things, right, and making his cuts and having the balance that we want and bursting through a hole. I mean, he's a talented kid.
Although months away from opening kickoff, younger running backs LaShawn Daniels and Jonathan Parker are under the microscope from their coaches.
You know, we have depth at the running back position right now. We have experience at the running back position right now. And we have some young guys who are trying to make a move and earn their niche at the running back position.
From a number of current Hawks trying to make a name for themselves to a former Hawkeye whose legacy is forever etched in stone here at the University of Iowa. Big Ten and national champion Tony Ramos doesn't have to worry about fans of the black and gold forgetting his name. All they have to do is look in the Iowa record books. But without a professional league to turn to come May, Ramos' next step, the Olympic Games. Despite finishing his Hawkeye career with Big Ten and NCAA championships, Tony Ramos has a lot on his plate. The Carroll Stream, Illinois native is chasing his Olympic dream, something that almost didn't happen when wrestling was temporarily removed from the 2016 Games in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Now you can get paid to do what you love, and if you want, they say if you want to be happy in your job, do what you love doing, and I love wrestling, so that's awesome. And it's awesome that wrestling was safe, so I do have the opportunity to do this, and then there's a next step. There's somewhere else to go from here.
Due to the new Olympic weight class classifications, Ramos will have to drop down to 57 kilograms or 125 pounds, but can still wrestle at 61 kilograms, his current weight, at World Championships. That drop in weight class means he'll have some familiar competition through Olympic qualifying. Former teammate Matt McDonough.
We'll be friends, but when it comes to the mat, it's going to be the same as anyone else.
Training full-time as an amateur athlete is costly, so like many before him, Tony Ramos will be joining Hawkeye Wrestling Club, which helps former Hawkeyes with coaching and fundraising to continue their wrestling careers. In addition to that, Ramos has started a website that features his shirts and other apparel that will go towards funding his dream in Rio.
We came up with designs, and then we had to send them into the University of Iowa to figure out licensing and how that was going to work. They agreed to co-brand with us on some of it, which is awesome, and I'm real grateful for that.
All of this just to chase an Olympic dream in Rio that almost didn't happen. Kevin Glick, Daily Iowan TV Sports. One more quick update before we get you out of here tonight. Iowa baseball back to their winning ways after back-to-back wins over Kansas at Dwayne Banks Field. Rick Heller's squad putting a tough 3-game set with their Big Ten favorite Indiana behind them after breaking out their bats to a tune of 17 runs in 2 games and wins over the Jayhawks. A whole lot more coming up on Sunday's edition of the program with a full report from Kirk Ferentz's squad's spring practice in Des Moines and the latest on the Iowa golf team, both on tap. But for now, it's back to you at the desk right after this.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight, but be sure to read Friday's pages of the Daily Iowan.
It's been 20 years since the Rwanda genocide, and one UI student shares their story on the survival.
And Iowa's wine industry is taking off. You can read about the industry's economic impact in the state tomorrow.
Well, thanks for tuning in this evening. We'll be back at the same time on Sunday, or you can catch us anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.